One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back.
No Simple Road. Yeah, here we go.
I'm just going to keep saying, ready? Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Over and over again. Are you ready?
No, I got to go to the bathroom now. I'll be back in about 20
Cool.
minutes.
I'm going to go outside and have a
Waited
smoke.
too long.
Hey now, No Simple Road family, we're back for another edition of the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, produced in collaboration with Melt Premium Mushroom Chocolates.
Melting you away.
Melting the
Melt in your
stress,
mouth, melt your
melting your
brain.
mind. This is premium mushroom chocolates. This isn't like the mushroom chocolates you got from some dude down the street. This is all in-house grown mushroom blend, 4 grams in every bar. The best chocolate you can possibly imagine. Vegan options, 10 different flavors. Go to Instagram and follow them at Melt Mushrooms, MELTMUSHROOMS, plural. That's right, because there's more than one mushroom in there. And send them a DM, tell them No Simple Road sent you, and you are going to get $20 off your first bar or order or whatever. And then you're going to send us a little message, and you're going to be like, those were the best freaking mushroom chocolates I ever had in my whole life. I ordered 400 of them.
That'd be awesome.
And they do have wholesale orders.
Yes, they do.
I was just going to read this little book from their Instagram. I love this, what they said the other day. Our focus is to help create a new relationship of well-being and mental health around mushrooms and other adaptogens. These plants are magic. They're our passion.
Mm-hmm.
Let them open your heart and minds to a healthier version of yourself.
And who couldn't use a healthier version of themselves? I know I could use a healthier version of myself right now. We are exactly 1 week from traveling to Dick's. We're back exactly 1 week today. And I said yesterday that yesterday was the first day I really 100% was back in my body and my mind was operating. But I think that was a lie. Yesterday was
compared to how you
maybe
feel
90%. Today's maybe 97. And there's still that missing 3% that's, floating in some bong water and the inside of a nitrous tank.
I think we have to definitely do that too with you try to convince yourself like no, I'm better than I am.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm 110%. It's like
thinking.
Tuesday, and it's like, oh, okay.
No, Tuesday.
Did anybody else believe me? Because I just bullshitted myself.
Mel and I like steady slept every single day from like, I don't know, what do you think? Like 1 in the afternoon?
Well, no, at least until like 3 because I get home and then yeah. So like 3 till 7.
6 or 7, get up for a couple hours and then go back to bed all week.
But you know what? At that point, rest is the only / best medicine that you can have. There's like, yeah, soup would be helpful. Electrolytes is great. And yes, all those things, vitamin C. But you need to just go to bed.
Yeah.
That's it.
Good sleep in your own
because when you wake up,
surroundings.
That's your, time to like rejuvenate and like your body's like repairing itself.
Well, okay, let's start at the beginning of the journey. So we left Wednesday morning. We woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, left for the airport at 3:30 and flew to Denver and went and did our appearance at Ophelia's Electric Soapbox. Yeah,
we got to stop there.
I will. With Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast, comedian Todd Glass, Chris Pandolfi was our guest, and
Jake Plummer,
the quarterback. For those of you that don't know who Jake Plummer is, he was the quarterback for the Denver Broncos back in the day, and he is now a mushroom advocate.
Yes, and a grower. He grows all kinds of wonderful mushrooms.
And a total badass.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And the most sweet, gentle man I met back there.
Yeah, I have to agree. I didn't know who he was, and him and I were just shooting the shit.
Neither did I, and he was such a sweetheart. And he, I've actually had people that have watched the podcast, the live stream, mention they're like, wow, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Yeah.
So we go in the afternoon to go do sound check at Ophelia's, and we get there and it was just us.
You're not going to tell anybody about the car?
What car? Oh, the car that we rented?
Yes, because
no, we're not there yet.
We rented that car to get
but
there.
I didn't know how much I loved it until I tried to drive it home.
He had not fallen in love with the headlights yet.
Yeah, you just blew it.
That's a sneak
There's
peek.
no blew it.
Okay.
Yeah, that tells you that. Love the headlights.
I did. So yeah, we're there. It's just us. There's like 2 other people in the building, and then Nick Gerlach shows up, and then Andy shows up, and then Andy's crew shows up, and they start setting up the stage for the night that we're about to have. And
that was really cool to be a witness to that.
Yeah, to them rehearsing and getting ready and doing sound check, and we got to do that was like our first real sound check.
Yeah.
Like having to be there early in the afternoon to set up our mics and check the volumes. It was something else.
It was a trip. It was definitely a trip. I mean, I've been to sound checks before and seen bands.
Yeah, so have I. But it's different when it's
Andy Frasco and crew sound checks different.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Funny. And
wow.
Yeah.
For any of you that have ever wondered if like there's an on Frasco and an off Frasco, there's not. There's just a Frasco. It's always the scene around him. I mean, what you see on stage is personified a little bit with the antics, but that's happening 24/7. Like,
yeah,
it's a cavalcade of weirdos and just stuff happening.
He's about it. He's about the lifestyle. He's about the performance. He's about the work. He's about the connection. He's about all of it.
Yeah, man. It was super, super cool to get to do that with him. So we finish our sound check.
Thank you, Andy. That was really, really fun.
And we take off to go check into our Airbnb that we shared with Long Strange Putt and some Saxy Art and a few of their brethren. And we get to the house and we got to relax for a little while.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
if I remember
really
correctly.
nice.
Oh yeah, we got a shower and get ready, and we had a few hours to take a quick nap and then like prep and get cleaned up to go
back to Ophelia's.
Yeah,
and so we go back to Ophelia's and get there and it's starting to fill in with people. We're supposed to go on at like 7:30, and we got there at like 6:45, and it's it's starting to get busy, and I'm like, oh shit.
And we're hanging out in the green room with Todd Glass and Andy's
so
road
fun.
manager, and they're bringing us back hors d'oeuvres, little pork belly hors d'oeuvres, cornbread hors d'oeuvres, and then these pizzas from Ophelia's that were just the hot honey drizzle on the pizza
Apple.
was one of my favorite things I've ever tasted.
I know. I love that was your favorite. Their first thing.
You've said that sentence like 500 times since then.
Yeah, it's like hot honey. I wasn't hip to that.
I'm still not hip to it. I haven't had it on pizza, but you guys have been
You
raving
put that
about
shit
it.
on anything.
Oh yeah,
put it on a shoe.
Hot honey's legit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back there, and Andy comes back. He's like, "Yo, man, it hasn't filled in all the way. It's like 7:20." He's like, "We're gonna give it until like 7:50," and I'm like, by this point, I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna shit my pants and throw up.
Why?
I was so nervous, and I had done like so good up until maybe when we walked into Ophelia's. I was like, I don't know why I'm not nervous.
What do you think makes you nervous at the last minute like that? Because I was too.
I don't know. I couldn't get a handle on it.
I didn't get nervous because you're building yourself up for that 7:30 thing, and then it's like, which was a good idea to push it 20 minutes to let more people come in, but then it's like, okay, I was ready to go in a couple minutes. Now we got to sit here for another 20 minutes.
You know what?
And
was
I know
helpful?
I had several Andy Frasco specials, and Mel had one. We had some Jamesons and ginger ale and that helped calm me.
It did. And then actually really truly hanging out with Todd Glass. He
is a great conversationalist.
Yes,
Yeah.
we were so engaged in conversation the whole night, and that it like kind of made me forget why we were there.
No, I didn't forget.
Like it just it took the edge off of that was all I was thinking about.
It gave something to do, to be like preoccupied building up to it with good conversation and funny.
Let me just stop right here before we go any further. I don't want to forget and just finish this, rewind and be like, fuck, I forgot to say that. For all of you that tuned in to the live stream, thank you so much. I got a transcript of the chat. And,
you did?
And you guys are so sweet. And I love you all so much. Thank you so much for spending that night with us and being there with us when we did. That was a really, really huge deal for us, man.
Also, sorry we could, because Aaron was trying to work that in of like bringing his iPad on stage so we could try to interact with the chat. But also it would have been very hard to do. Mm-hmm. We would have had to like stop and like oh, hold on, Chris.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have done it while somebody else was talking, but I completely forgot that the iPad even existed on planet Earth,
because you ended up leaving it there that night when we left.
I don't.
That was a thing.
Remind me anyway.
That's part of the story.
I know,
because we have to get into it later.
So it's like 7:48, and we're standing behind the curtain, waiting to go on the stage, and I'm like literally vibrating, like I felt like I was going to pass out. Because the room is full, man.
And people were kind of coming in and out of the curtain. A couple people came in and out. So then when the curtain opened, you could see. That's when I started getting nervous. I could see how full it was filling up, because the curtain would part for a minute. It was like, oh shit,
all these actual people.
Yeah.
And so they start playing the No Simple Road music.
And I was trying to, this is imperative that I say this, because it was like, we needed to get out there or whatever, but like, you have to let the music go for like even 5 seconds and then make a walkout. Literally the second it came on, Aaron bolted, and I was like trying to grab his shirt to like, but he went so fast that he didn't even know that.
I was out there
on the first note.
Boom. Yeah.
I was like, dang, give him a little something.
But I walked out, I see all the people in the audience, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like in my head, I don't know what to say. I had like a whole thing that I was going to say prepared in my head, forgot the entire thing.
Yep.
Got over to where I was sitting down. I sat down and I went completely calm. It was so weird. Like in the cartoons when you see color drain out of somebody down to their feet.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Like all the nervousness just went. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. This is going to be dope. And we did our thing, man. I feel like we did on that stage in front of everybody what we do sitting right here with just the three of us.
Yeah, it did feel very I don't, normal's not the word, but like I was just thinking about it when we were coming in right now. Like I feel so comfortable. Here. Like if anybody comes into this room, I don't care who it is. I feel so good in my own space, and I feel like we created our own space on that stage.
In Ophelia's.
Yeah, in Ophelia's.
And the conversation was really fun that we had with Chris. That was a conversation we've never really had before with anybody, and the topic really did fit for where we were.
Yeah. Which, okay, that made me, I realized just, like if we're going to do, I remember speaking of Chris, during the first time we had him on the show, he mentioned about like going back and looking at his performance and like what could he have done better, right? So I was just like thinking, we took it for granted that everybody was a Phish fan that would go to Ophelia's and that's what people were in town for, because some people didn't know that, but a lot of people did. And so even just like the back, it enforced in me like a short backstory how important it is, just to kind of catch everybody up in the room up to speed.
Well, that's why like when we came out, the first thing that I thought to do was introduce who we were. You know what I mean? Because there were people there that had no idea who No Simple Road was, and
they're there for Frasco.
Who are these fucking people that are up on the stage, and why do I care?
And some of the few people were there just because they like going to Ophelia's and whatever is going to be on stage.
They're
just there because they like Ophelia's, and
so we do our thing, and we go back stage to the green room after we're done.
Hold on, why do you think it went, Apple?
How do I think? I think it went amazing. Like what you guys were saying, you summed it up when you were like looking for the word. Once we were on stage and sat down and looked in people's eyes, and then bless her heart, Annabelle was there. Annabelle came up to the front and just like did like shooting guns and blowing kisses, like you guys sweet. Rock, and I just felt,
and letting us know that she was there, like
and looked out and just saw all these friendly faces. That was like, oh, this is our people. We're home.
I saw people like making eye contact with me while I was talking, like nodding.
Yeah.
And like,
like kind of like
man,
for the people that
too.
didn't see the stream, like you didn't mention that the way Aaron started it out was by having everybody get completely quiet and do a breathing exercise together.
Yeah,
which got the entire was amazing because there's like a balcony with tables. People are up there like eating meals, having dinner, and everybody stopped and like quit eating and paid attention.
It was a trip.
It was dope. It like totally worked to get everybody on the same page and to help them pay attention.
It helped me to get on the level. I was like, good, because Aaron like was like, you do it, and I was like, no, you need to see this through. You started it. You need to complete it. Like
it was cool too. Like I said, we're from Portland, and in the spirit of keeping it weird, we're gonna do something weird and cool together. Right now, we're gonna do a little breathing exercise. And I want everybody to like sit up in their chair and close their eyes. And the entire place went silent. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
It's like, they're in the palm of my hand now. That was a cool feeling to like,
and it set the tone for our whole
It did set the tone. I felt like it just kind of pressed the reset button on the evening. Like, okay, we're starting right now. Like, anything, like a chant or like, some
ohms.
The other thing I felt too with that one, I felt like we did Peach Festival and stuff, but this felt to me like I felt like it was our first performance because of the interaction with people and people. I didn't realize till the one girl said afterwards, she's all, you were cracking me up with your facial expression reactions to the conversation and what was going on. And I'm like, what? Okay, because I guess she's like, you do your eyebrows and this and that. I'm like, Okay, so it was like
Oh, that
there was
lady.
people watching us. It was a performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't usually get to sit in front of that many people and have they're intently watching us and
Yeah.
listening. And it was like we performed
It
our
was
asses
a really
off.
good crowd. Like
it was a great crowd.
I never really understood that. Well, I do understand that from like being in a crowd's perspective, but like if you're on stage when they say it was a good crowd, I can understand the interaction. You know, it makes sense more.
I'm sure that there's places that won't, that aren't.
Absolutely. 'cause-
And seeing the thing that you hear bands like because you can't see everybody. I got where we've heard people say you can see like the first front rows, but then everything because the lights, the
Yeah.
house lights and stuff
I
kind of
actually
blind
could see
you.
pretty good. I saw a lot of people's faces, and that was another thing that helped me. So Kyle, I just want to give you a shout out, and Kim, y'all were really helpful. Like I looked over a couple times and just saw you guys smiling, and like it like anchored me in. It was like, okay, people are digging it. I don't need to be nervous. I am be myself, dropped into the conversation.
It was
you know?
it felt so good. And if like
Yeah.
when there's a little clock that faces the stage, and I looked and I saw that we had like a minute left, and when we got up to walk off that stage, I was floating. I was like, wow, I can't believe we just did that. Like, and it went through my head like 6.5 years ago, clamping the mic to the table out in the front and like being scared to even put my voice out on the internet and then to be doing that. Like, it was a cool, like full circle moment in my head for myself. And we walk backstage, and there's a whole, you know, if you've ever been backstage at any kind of a show, there's a whole scene that's going on back there of like
There really is.
managers and tour managers and, you know, hanger-oners and the band and this, that, the other person. I was like, I can't deal with this right now.
Matt, thank you so much for hooking us all up and making sure that we had everything right on the stage, behind the stage,
And
like
Mel.
sound. Mel, oh my gosh,
Mel.
Mel and Matt, really, you two, not just you two, but like, thank you for hooking it up and making it such a positive experience and like being so sweet and attentive and like
Making sure that we were
yeah,
covered.
on so many different angles. It was like, thank you to the Ophelia staff, like
Yeah.
from top to bottom.
So they have like an upstairs area and there's an outdoor little patio. I was like, I'm going up to that patio. I'm going to go outside and have a cigarette. And so I grab my smokes and walk up the stairs, and I walk outside, and there's like maybe 4 people out there because there's, you know, people are eating still, stuff's going on. Well, 2 of the 4 people that are standing out there are Peter Shapiro and Justin Cucci. Justin Cucci's the guy that owns Ophelia's and the Edible Beats. And I was like, oh, wow. Oh, shit. Like, I didn't think to like walk over to them and say anything. And Peter Shapiro looks at me and he's like, Aaron, that was fucking awesome, man. I was like, first of all, Peter Shapiro just said my name and knows who the fuck we are. Like, okay, that's weird. And second, he just said, we did a good job. What the hell? So I like,
It's not that weird, babe. We have had him on the show.
yeah, but that guy,
You know what? He strikes me as somebody who remembers things.
yeah.
Especially when it
Peter
makes an
Shapiro
impression.
doesn't give me the vibe that he's forgetful or doesn't remember faces or names. I feel like he knows.
So-
He may not take him a minute to connect, but like he knows what's
So
up.
we proceed to have like maybe a 5-minute conversation, and he was like, you know, man, that was really cool. I've never seen anybody do anything like that. And I was like, well, you know, man, like we were having these conversations with the musicians, and then we would go to the show afterward and we'd have a deeper experience with the music because we now knew the person that was making it. It was different for us. We're rooting for our friend. And I was like, and you know, it occurred to me, like, we can do the same thing for the people that listen to the show. We can all get to know the person together. And then when they go see the show, they're going to have a deeper experience. And he was like, wow, man, that's fucking genius. And I was like, Peter Shapiro just said I had a genius idea. Like, it's like, holy shit. And then Justin came over and started telling me like, hey man, great job. Like, that was really cool. It was really great to get to see you guys do what you do live. Like, because as if you listen to the rewind, you know that Edible Beats had been our sponsor for almost the last 9 months, I think, for the weekly rewind. And just a month and a half ago, they stopped their sponsorship with us. And he was like, I want to, while you guys are in town, I know that you guys want to eat at one of the restaurants. So please let me spoil you guys with a brunch one day. I know you're going to see Phish and everything, but I want to spoil you guys. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, absolutely, I want to do that. But then I'm thinking about like the logistics of trying to wake up in the morning to go do anything after a Phish show, So I was like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Okay. And I walked off that like porch area like, holy shit. Peter Shapiro just told me I did a good job. And Justin Cucci wants to buy me brunch. Like, and I just performed at Ophelia's. I can't believe this is my life right now.
Welcome to your life.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
That was rough. I'll take it. Like that. I couldn't stop smiling.
And then after that happened, the entire rest of the evening that we were there, because we were there for several more hours for Andy's performance, and just so many people that were there coming up to each of us together separately, because we were kind of wandering around doing our own thing, then hanging out together. So many people coming up and thanking us and just giving us shout outs and making us feel good. And it was just, what an amazing.
What was that lady and her husband's name that have the podcast?
Oh gosh, was it Oliver?
You don't remember?
Oh no, I don't.
She said me and Mel and I were sitting down, and she
Olivia.
came up to us and she was like, hey guys, I don't want to bother you, but we want to have you on our podcast. And I was like, oh, really cool. What's your podcast about? And it's what is it? It's a
podcast about, is it about breathing?
It's breath work.
Yes, breath work.
And they're like, we don't know who Andy Frasco is. We didn't know who you guys were. We just happened to be here tonight at this thing. And the entire night was a synchronicity for us, because we talk on our podcast about the subject you were talking about tonight, but in the context of meditation, not in the context of music. She's like, the conversation you guys just had tonight is something that we've been talking about for the past few months on our show, and we really want to have you guys on. And I was like, what a trip. Like, just going somewhere, not knowing even what it is you're going to see.
And it's her and her husband doing the podcast too, which that was, she also, I mean, and we are going to do this. If she's down, I'm down to do it.
I'm down, hell yeah.
But we were also talking about hair, because she has curly hair also. And she had asked me if, that was my hair or whatever. So like, we're talking about hair, and I'm telling her this kind of my story, and she's like, oh my God, like that's my story too. We have so many similarities in how just like feeling shamed for having curly hair, and
so
feeling like you have to have it straight. And then so just what that does to your psyche. It's like, it seems simple, but it's like, if hair does have this spiritual aspect to it, as far as like,
your antenna
and like the spiritual energy that you have or whatever, and you're like taming it. You're like on purpose, like taking the fight out of it, and like, and like loving it, smiling, and it's like such a sad thing. Yeah, it's a weird head trip that it gives you, and like only girls that have curly hair could know that.
Yeah, and we haven't even mentioned like Dan.
Oh my gosh,
our brother Dan came on his own dime.
Oh my gosh,
to
Dan,
Denver.
I love you so much.
Just to do photos and video for us
and to come to Phish.
And we took him to his first Phish show. So
that's right.
So yeah, we finished the night at Ophelia's. We jump in the minivan that we rented. We're driving back to the Airbnb, and we got about 2/3 of the way back, and I was like, oh, I left the iPad in the green room. And had that feeling of like, well, probably never going to see that iPad ever again. And if tonight cost me an iPad, totally worth
I
it.
was honestly shocked at Aaron's calmness
Me
and
too.
reaction, because it was like, oh fuck, we got to turn around and go all the way back, and he's like, it's my bad, I left it. Hopefully we get it. If not, I'll buy a new one. You were so calm about it.
Mel mentioned that to
Which
me.
kind of reflects the evening, like you said, the calmness that came over you after we did it, and it stayed throughout the. He's just like, oh well, an iPad.
I mean, it's honestly like what?
That wouldn't be your normal reaction in a lot of
No.
times in the past,
It would be
especially
like,
with
"Oh,
a piece
fuck."
of piece of equipment. Like that's it. The whole night's canceled. We
Yep.
got to go get that piece of equipment out and care
Now
what
we
it
can't
takes.
do whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah.
it was literally a breath of fresh air, and it's kind of like prior to this trip, you had already been displaying like different characteristics, like having different responses to things that would happen in your life normally,
Yeah.
like road rage, for example, or like people cutting in front of the line.
Oh, that
or-
lady today, man. That was just like rude. That was just rude. Don't treat me like I'm a ghost.
There are people that are rude. That's true.
I mean,
or
just
or
like
they could be absent-minded, like whatever. Who knows?
Whatever. Anyway, so
Who
yeah,
knows what
sorry.
drugs she was on?
right. So the iPad is like, I know exactly where it is. There's a shelf in the green room. It's on the shelf up. So I try and call Ophelia's. There's nobody there. It's closed. I text Frasco. I'm like, yo, Frasco, if you're still at Ophelia's, can you grab my iPad for me? And no answer until the next day at like 4 p.m. Andy's road manager has the iPad, and I'm like,
Yes.
fuck. And now
we're stoked.
now I
because-
got to put out Andy Frasco's fucking tour manager to make sure I get my iPad. Like, I felt so bad.
Yeah, that sucks. But I was just grateful that they got it, and like we didn't have to buy another iPad and another pen and
Yeah.
just be inconvenienced. And they were sweet. They were.
They went out of their way. Bo was a mensch. Yeah, hooked me up. So, Bo, I don't know if you listen to the show, but if you do, thanks, brother. That was super fucking cool of you to hook me up like that. Anyway, so we get up the next morning. We're hanging out at the Airbnb with Sean and Andrew and Mike and all of our homies that are there, and just getting ready for the Phish pregame. And Dick's is its own animal. It's a very special thing,
Yeah, it is very special. It's one of the best places to have a reunion. It's such a beautiful place to see people that you're excited to see all year long. And seeing Annabelle after Dick's, that to me was like,
Was that on the first night?
that was Friday night. Yeah.
Wow.
The first night was Thursday night.
Yeah. it
Or
was
Thursday.
With
Whatever.
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. My days. Thanks, Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that, seeing all the people that you don't really get to see unless you're at a Phish event, it's really a fun. Seeing Leslie Mack,
From the Goose Chicks podcast?
Yeah, Goose Chicks podcast. Shout out Leslie. That was such a fun little rendezvous. I ran over and gave her a hug while Phish was on, and yeah, it's a great place to have a reunion, and that's why I think I love Dick so much, and it's so special. to me.
So Dan is with us. He's at his first Phish show, and he has no context for the scene that
And
that
he
is
said
Dick's.
that he made a point of not even really to look into him or listen to anything. He wanted to
good.
come in
So
like
smart.
not knowing.
Man.
So we're like, well, he's at his first show. Like, we have to take him to Shakedown. Like, we
Yes.
gotta take him and walk around and see what's going on out there, because like, for you all that are listening to the show, it's kind of ubiquitous. If I say Shakedown, a million images pop up in your head. You know exactly what that means. You know,
Some people may not.
bacon in every motherfucking bite. You know about the balloons. You know about the ice cold fatties, the whole thing. He didn't know none of that stuff. So it was really fun to like
introduce him to that.
Yeah, take him and see Shakedown through the eyes of somebody that has no context for what Shakedown is.
Aaron bought him a pin on Shakedown that said "my first show,"
That was really
sweet. People that go to Phish know. Everybody within 20 minutes of us finding our spot, everybody around knew it was his first show, and he was stoked by it. People are like pointing at him. They're like, "It's his first show." People are like, "Right on!" And that already, the show hadn't even started, and he was already like, "Oh my gosh!" Like everybody's friends and so cool.
And I was thinking, I remember like showtime was supposed to be 7:30. I knew they were going to come on around 8. And it was about 5 minutes to 8, and things were starting to get fun and weird. And I remember thinking to myself, I hope Phish knows that it's Dan's first show and that they don't come out and soft shoe us with some like, we're going to take it easy on you for the first night because it's 4 days. And in true Phish fashion, they came out and kicked us straight in the nuts with a 20-minute Carini.
Oh my God.
Like,
you got a Carini.
Yeah. And
Dan got a Carini.
And after the first few notes, they settled into the jam, and I turned around because Dan was standing behind me. I turned around to look at his face, and the look on his face was like utter awe, terror, joy, and astonishment. Like all in one compact expression on his face. He wasn't even like moving or dancing. He was just like kind of like mouth open, eyes bugged out, like
it was happening at him
or to him. Carini was happening to him. Yes.
Carini was having so
was happening to me too.
So was Kuroda's light show from
Yes.
the moment on because Dan he's a videographer, photographer,
A lighting
guy. He was immediately blown away. Like what the hell is this lighting rig?
It was the best. Like, I've taken a lot of people to their first shows. It was the second best reaction I've ever had from anybody. First place goes to Cody.
Oh,
you got a Carini. I don't know what's happening, but I love it.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I think he knows what it is now, though. Definitely Cody knows what a Carini is.
he does. And
yes.
so does Dan now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
And I love that Dan immediately, one of the first things, like he wants to go again. Immediately, he got it with a few songs
You
in.
know who
He
else
was like,
knows
beam me
about
up.
a Carini?
Who?
Nathaniel.
Oh, yeah. Nathaniel knows about a Carini. Yeah.
Christina and Fernando know about a Carini.
Yeah. I mean, that whole night, man, right into Haley's Comet. So, like, you get kicked in the nuts, and then they're singing Barbershop Quartet. Like,
it matched so perfectly at the time.
Well, yeah, that's what they do. And then, like, in the second set, a 22-minute and 39-second tweezer. Like, that place, when the first notes of tweezer hit, the energy was already through the ceiling in that place, and it went into the stratosphere.
It was a very energetic crowd.
Well, I like that second set too because we got 3 of the Trey songs in it, which was really sweet. That was very lyrical night.
I can't tell which ones are Trey's and which ones are not.
Well, Set Your Soul Free, Beneath the Sea of Stars, and Oblivion, Ruby Waves in the first set.
Yeah.
Show of Life in the encore.
Set Your Soul Free was one of my faves.
I will say, and I'm going to maintain this, like, it seems like every time I go to a Phish show, there's one song that illustrates everything in my life up to that point, and it becomes my new favorite song for a while until the next time I go see Phish, and that happens.
Yeah, that happens
but,
to me too.
And I was saying it that night, Show of Life is my favorite Phish song ever, period, for now.
Well, and then for somebody's
said,
first
babe.
show too, it ended without Dan knowing much to end it with that "Say It to Me" Santos, and he was singing a lot like partway into the song because those lyrics you get,
Yeah.
and it's like
That's an easy
always
sing-along.
remember, when, like he was into it.
The Show of Life, the lyrics to that song in the context of No Simple Road are so intense and beautiful and heavy and poignant for us. Like,
Darwin has something to say.
he wants to go to bed. That's what
Yeah, he's gotten all he ate and did all the things.
Yeah, he's like
the dog is jammed between Mel
Yeah.
and me and the table right now.
he like is begging for attention, like so much that I had to interrupt the podcast to say something.
So we leave the show with Dan and we say like, "Hey Dan, what did you think?" And what does he say to you, Apple?
Well, the second song in, he told me about the light show. I was like, "Isn't this like it's like alien stuff?" He's like, "Beam me up." And then one of the first things he said after the show, he's like, "I got what do you say? I got
Deprogrammed.
I got
Deprogrammed.
deprogrammed."
I mean,
Those are the most powerful words. You can just stop right there. Like, you know, when one phrase means everything, like that says a lot.
that's a heavy statement
Yes,
to
it
say
is.
after a concert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In addition to, he's like, "Oh, this will not be my last concert." And, you know, you said it to him. The show that Sydney and Adam got is not
No.
or that's not the same Phish that Sydney and Adam saw.
No. Sydney and Adam saw really, really great Phish. That's it.
Yeah.
They did not see Phish from another planet.
No.
What's up, everybody? If you're like me and you're trying to do better for yourself and what you eat in this new year, I have something really cool for you. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day way easier. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You're going to have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. What are you waiting for? Sign up and save. They've done all the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. So here's what you got to do. Head to factormeals.com/NoSimpleRoad50 and use the code NoSimpleRoad50 to get 50% off your first box and 2 free wellness shots per box while subscription is active. That's code NoSimpleRoad50 at factormeals.com. Take all the guesswork out of trying to do the right thing for your body. Fuel up easy and fast. Go check out Factor.
No.
Well, the other thing I love that Dan got, because I think he said he'd never been to a show. A lot of people have never been to a show with
that many
a set break, with a
Oh my
half
gosh.
hour or so set break, and he didn't understand until he experienced it. It was like, that was so cool, because that's when you get to know everybody even better that you've already been dancing with and smiling and hugging for an hour and a half or so.
Yeah.
And he was like, that was so cool, the set break.
There was one moment when he like pointed at me, like he like tapped me on the shoulder, and I looked back and like he like was pointing, and like the look on his face,
Like a little kid.
it was like a little kid that just saw like a dragon.
The most mystical thing like ever.
And like, are you seeing this? Like
A ghost
Like,
riding a dragon.
I can't describe it, but it made me love him so much in that moment. And I was so proud to give him that kind of experience. Like, I was so happy that like he came with us.
Yeah.
And we were sitting where we were sitting. It was like the most perfect seats
Dead center.
ever. With just, the night was like amazing in every kind of a way. The weather, the set,
people
the
around
setting,
us.
all of
Yeah.
those things, and the night 2 was so vastly different from night 1
Mhm.
that if he would have came the second night, I wouldn't have been able to say that same thing.
Yeah.
I don't.
They started
It's-
with that Wolfman's brother.
That it wasn't no Carini.
No, it wasn't.
I
I could try.
Come on, you could try to say whatever you
Yeah,
want,
that's
but a
Yeah, he got
Wolfman's
a
brother
great
is
first
not
show.
a Carini, and I will stand by that every time.
I mean,
Well, yeah, none of the nights disappoint.
Then maybe they'll make a wolf.
and then okay, so the show ends. Dan gets deprogrammed, and he's never seen Shakedown after a show.
Oh my gosh, that was fun.
So we take him out into utter mayhem. For those of you that have never been to Dick's lot,
it's popping off
after a Phish show is maybe one of the most unhinged places on the planet that I've been to a lot of shakedowns after shows, and they're crazy. It's always a wild scene. Dick's lot after is unhinged.
It's the epitome of the lunatics have taken over the asylum.
Yep. Yeah. And we were all really sprung and trying to find the car and just the whole trip.
When you're inside of the concert and you're having all this fun, and then you go outside and then you circus, and you it's almost like going into like a moat. Like a circular moat, you're just kind of like a lazy river. It takes you. You don't even realize where you're going, and then you're like, oh wait, is that park here?
Okay.
Oh wait,
and that is
maybe.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
the
if
first night.
What side of the stadium are we on?
Yeah,
and that's when I got lost too. I was like a little kid for a moment. Turn around, within 2 seconds, they were gone in the sea of people. I'm like, oh my god, what do I do?
It was.
Oh, I have a phone.
Yeah,
I'll just call Aaron.
And you actually responded immediately. I was like, I'm going to call Aaron, but he's not going to answer. And I'll try Mel. She won't answer her phone. They never answer their phones. And you answered right away. I was like, where the fuck are you? What happened?
We were like 20 feet away from each other too.
Yeah.
So we get to the car, and it's a minivan again, everybody. And we leave Dick's lot. And I have earlier in the day, we had gone back to Raising Cane's.
Oh yeah,
it was like how you can add a stop on your Maps app. So I put in the place we were staying and then added a stop to Cane's. So I thought I had hit the address to the house that we were going back to, and it's after a Phish show. I'm driving. I'm on the freeway in Denver in a minivan, doing 60 miles an hour. And it seemed like we were driving for a really long time.
Yeah, it did.
And I was like,
because we were.
This is weird. And I was like, well, maybe I'm just spun. And I kept saying I feel like we're driving backwards, trying to be silly. And it was taking a really long time. And then I get off. It's our exit's up, and I'm like, oh, this looks familiar. Okay, cool. We're cool. And I turn and I see Raising Cane's, and I'm like, oh shit, I just drove us
a quarter of the way in the wrong direction.
Yeah, about 15 minutes further than we needed to go. And I just remember too, because we were listening to, I don't know if we were listening to radio had that, but it was
oh my gosh, yes.
It was many songs. This is a longer journey than it definitely was. This is like the fourth or fifth song.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is anybody hungry? And everybody's like, no. So we finally get home, and the party's on at the house. And whatever, I'll skip all that. It was great getting to connect with the crew that we stayed with, because we all didn't know each other very well. It was just me and Mel knew Long Strange Putt, but some Saxy Art and the others that were there, we didn't really know. So we got the chance to really connect with those cats. And what a sweet, sweet bunch of people, man.
It's a really cool, talented crew. Thank you for the merch. Some Saxy Art. Thank you so much.
And Long Strange Putt for the fluff head hats.
Yep. And I don't know Devon's.
Tune. I'm not sure what to say, but everybody calls him Tune, but it's Devon. He is amazing.
Yeah, all the
and Mike.
And Mike, yeah. So thank you for a really good time. Yes.
Yeah, man. Such a cool crew. And so Mel and I go to our room and pass out and get up in the morning. We're hanging out. We have our coffee. We do our thing, and we make some food. And
that's right. Oh my God, that parfait.
Our friends, Christina and Fernando, come and meet us at the house. They're like, we're going to get dropped off and drive with you guys to Dick's, so we can catch up while we're on the way, because we haven't seen them since last year at Dick's.
See what I'm talking about? That reunion?
Yeah. So we get back in the minivan, and I open my navigation app, and I'm like, Dick's Sporting Goods Park. No problem.
I almost forgot about this.
Oh my god.
And so I start driving, and I'm cruising, and I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't seem like we're going in the right direction.
It seems like it's taking longer.
Whatever, it's fine. I'm not spun now.
Taking me a secret way.
Yeah, like maybe it was traffic the other way, and I'm just going a different way now, man.
Nope.
And we pull into the parking lot of Dick's Sporting Goods
Store.
Yeah, I did that. And we were trying to hurry to get to the lot to get our spot, and yeah.
But other than that night
us-
too, everything worked out great. Thanks to Luke, who was already there, and they got in line, and everything worked out. But it was funny.
And I will say,
I wanted to give Peter a shout out. Peter and Sarah, who were my neighbors on one of the nights. I think it was night. Yeah. But he asked me to give him a shout out, and so here it is, Peter. I hope you listen.
There it is.
And it was super fun dancing next to you two.
Night 2, we got a chance. You guys have heard us talk about Luke and from our Breath Collective, and you know that he's like my breathwork coach and the guy that's teaching me and Apple both meditation and stuff. And we all got a chance to hang out, and it was really, really fucking awesome to vibe with my brother in real life at our favorite band, like doing the thing and getting to laugh and be silly with him and have a great time.
Yeah.
This night too.
And meeting his brother from another mother, Dave, it was so awesome.
Hug it out.
Out of all the songs they played on night 2, I'm going to say for sure the 24-minute Sand from night 2.
The Mel did not remember.
You don't remember that?
Well,
remember
I
it?
went back and I listened to the Sand, and I remembered why I didn't remember.
Why?
Because night 2 was, I was having a hard time on night 2.
What was wrong?
I just like I think it was like catching up to me, like just being tired.
Oh,
and
like Ophelia and not sleeping and partying.
Exactly.
And,
all the things. And so when I heard Sand, I was like, I was like sitting on the ground and like listening inside. That's usually when I would have my blanket over my head. Those are those times, and I just didn't have a little scarf that day.
Didn't register.
Yeah, I didn't register to use it or anything. But that I love Sand, and I was like waiting for it. But then that was that time that I was like,
but
not
for me. My money spent, it was expensive for us to do 4 nights of Phish. 3 people, 4 nights of Phish, plane fare, all that stuff. It's expensive. Every dime that we spent to go to these shows was well spent for the encore, night 2, the Split Open and Melt. I was just explaining this to Sean McLean from World's Finest. We just did an interview with him a little while ago this evening. There's moments at concerts where music ceases to be music, and it transcends tone and rhythm and meter and chord structure and all that, and it becomes something else. The last 5 minutes of that Split Open and Melt was, and this is a big statement, and I know I say stuff like this all the time, but this is I mean this like for real. This isn't me being me. This isn't hyperbole.
This one's for real.
This is for real. I mean it this time.
Realsies.
Yeah. It was the heaviest shit I've ever seen. I've never seen anything that intense. The last few minutes of that, I stopped dancing and was holding on to Mel for dear life, because I felt like if I didn't hold on to something solid, I was going to get blown into the sky behind Dick's.
You had the look on your face like Dan did on his first night, on his first show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a stupefied kid,
yes.
like
Holy.
What just happened? I remember looking down at it because we were sitting behind the tents were kind of a little below us down there for the floor where they had all the beer and beverages, and there's like 15, 20 staff people working who were grooving through most of the show but during that I saw like most of them were just standing there like mouth open, staring at everybody in the stage. Like, what is happening at this place?
I feel like whatever hose music comes through, it broke. The hose broke, and the music water was just flowing like a broken water main, pouring out on everybody. And I remember in like behind my eyes, I had my eyes closed, and Kuroda's lights were doing like, it was the most insane fractal, like DMT world behind my eyelids, watching the lights with my eyes closed. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit. Like, my rational mind is going, what is actually happening right now? Like, the guys in the band have synced up to a point where it's not even a thing to play. It's the music is happening to them now. And that's happening to us too. And I started getting these like, it felt like computer, you know, when the Matrix, when the letters fall, when they're looking at the screens,
those
it
green
felt
letters.
like that kind of download was happening in my head.
It's like I tell you, I don't know who said that. It was like that. This is like binary code music.
Yeah.
Like like sound, like it's undescribable. I'm sure some of you have listened. If you haven't, go listen to that Split Open and Melt from that night.
So I mean, from night one with Dan, seeing his face, the show of life, getting to hang out with our family, Christina and Fernando and Luke.
I love those two
and
so much.
All of our homies. And then this Split Open and Melt, like night 2 ended. They ended the show like right after this onslaught and released all these people whose brains had just been recoded out into Shakedown Land.
Well, also on night 2, I was just going to add at the end before the encore, I was blown away by their cover of Shine a Light, the Rolling Stones.
Oh,
the way they
yeah,
ended
that
the
song.
way
That was
everybody
so
was singing.
sweet.
That was like
That
church.
was so sweet. You're right.
It was like,
Apple.
holy shit. And then to open the encore with Wilson, which is always the place just blows up and loses their mind. Wilson.
And I'm thinking to myself, like,
I want to see it.
I'm thinking to oh, you want night 2 or night 3?
I want just whatever you were looking at.
Okay, here's night 3. I'm thinking to myself as night 2 ends, like, you can't top that. There's no way that you can like do what they just did and then come back and do more.
And then night 3.
And then night 3 happens.
Night 3 was another level.
Mel has spoken.
It was that note that you were talking about that you can't even barely explain it.
Yeah.
You can't. That was the entire day of night 3.
That's true. Well,
not just if you can mix the perfect day with the perfect show, but also like the perfect feelings. We were riding on a high of a job well done. We had just done Ophelia's.
Yeah.
Now we were there for a few days. So it's day 3,
for
we're
us.
like marinating in it. It's kind of like just felt so good. It felt like,
Well, we also came home from the show on night 2, slept for like 3 hours, woke up and started partying again immediately and partied all day long until it was time to go to the show. Like, I had to take a nap so that I would be able to drive to the show.
Yeah, we were well into the zone.
We were
for night 3.
Yeah, it was happening. What did they open with on night 3?
They came out with that jammed out fluff head. Yeah, they jammed out fluff head.
They jammed out.
They don't
Fluff
usually
Head.
jam it like that. And it was
its own
it was
way.
something special, man. And you know that like when your favorite band comes out and does some shit they don't normally do on day 3 of a run, you're like, ooh, we're in for a good night. And it really did feel like that. Like,
Well, yeah. They did that cover, My Soul, We got the Reba. Everybody was really into the Reba. That was special.
Well, the special
The
was the Howling. That was it for me. That was when night 3 was popping off. It was before that, but like it was like settled at that Howling. I've been wanting that to happen. From night 1, we had that awesome full moon, and the clouds were up high and the moon was behind it, making that like silver lining, and it was just amazing. And so like night 1, I was like, come on, Howling. I'm like trying to get people.
She had our whole section howling on night 1.
And whatever, I put it out into the ethers. I don't know if Trey heard me, but night 3, I felt like from that moment on, like the show was dedicated to No Simple Road. And I know that's not true, but I
Sure
still
it
felt
is.
like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
I felt like somehow in the ethers, they knew exactly what songs that I wanted / needed to hear, because I got my 2001. I got my first tube. I got my Howling. I mean, like
The
there
Howling,
was a Carini
I
opener, like,
finally got on board. I was like, okay, Mel is willing this so much. It's
oh, and
gonna
Don't
happen.
Doubt Me. Don't Doubt
And
Me
we
was my
heard-
favorite.
We heard it. We heard when the Howling started, the first couple notes. It was like, huh?
Oh shit! It's
and
on.
I was ready with my car. I was very elevated at that point. Hard to even look at the phone, but I'm like, okay, I gotta capture this moment, and that's the clip Aaron threw up on.
Yeah, go to our
Instagram.
Instagram and you'll see Mel's real, like, this is real joy. That's like joy from the front of your toenails joy. Like, it's the cutest, coolest thing to see you that sprung on Phish.
It's because of Trey's singing in that song. It's not just because of that, but there is something about how he sings that it's so cool. It's so
It's starting to feel good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Well, that was right at the end of the second set. Like we feel the
yeah.
show's almost over.
Yeah, we're
Before
gonna
that,
get 2 more.
we got
maybe.
the awesome Chalk Dust Torture, the 46 Days, then the Howling, and then Piper, which everybody always sings along and
there
gets
was
hyped
this
with.
moment that happened with Jordan and one of his friends. Oh, I know, Ryan, because somehow or another we were talking. I can't remember what we were talking about, but then he was like, he was introducing me to Ryan. That's what it was. And he was like, oh, well, Ryan has a daughter and his daughter's name is Piper. And at that moment,
they started
Piper. And I was like, Ryan, do you realize that like this is like for us, right? This exact moment, right? Like, you know that. And
I love that
like,
shit.
yeah. And so, and we just like went crazy after that. It was amazing.
The best time dancing next to my brother Jordan.
Oh my God. When he had the hat on.
He is I love being with you guys at shows. Being with Jordan at shows is some of the funnest shit on the planet. I love watching him dance, and he's so sarcastic even while the band's playing, and it's my favorite thing in the world. Like, they'll do some outrageously cool thing and he'll just like glance over at me, be like, it was just all right. The best feeling dancing with him that night. And at the end,
and Jamie, are you kidding me? When she
just pops up in my vision, like
just every now and then she just pops up with those beautiful, cute little sultry eyes of hers and her little
she's smile of
her
hers.
smile, like everything about Jamie just comes up, and she's like, boom, I'm here, I'm boss, I'm bad. Like,
yeah, that's
and
a badass
then
woman.
jamming next to her was like, it was the night. The night was
I was feeling
amazing.
myself too, man. I like left our section and went and danced with from Goose Chicks.
Oh, Leslie.
I went and danced with her for a little while during the Howling.
Oh.
And so, show ends, they're gonna encore. Cool, they're gonna do 1-2 songs, maybe.
Yeah, we
3.
know that the night's almost over. So
They gave us a 42-minute and 36-second 6-song encore with some of the baddest shit. I was praying for a Don't Doubt Me, Unhead the Knee.
That I did not realize how much I love that. Like, when he did that was just like
someone's got to clean that
for
up.
the rest of the trip. For the rest of the trip, that's what it was all about. Someone's got to clean that up.
And closing the show with the most energetic Run Like an Antelope. I came unhinged during Antelope. I was shaking. My hair
last
was
song
wild.
for
Like
a show opener.
it was on. Go back home. Actually, that was the night that we got lost. Mel, Apple, and I
Oh my
walked
gosh.
out of Dick's.
Hold on.
Hang on. Literally could not find our car. We kept like walking over to the stadium and being like, what side of the stadium are we
But
on?
wait, before we got lost, we were walking out just outside of the doors of the stadium, and we whirl into this man, and he said that he got lost last year till 6 a.m. and was crying. He was like, I'm sorry to say that I was crying. And he
He's
was
like, these two older ladies found me and helped me find my car and got me home. And I was like, oh, that would suck to lose your car here at Dick's.
well, and then next thing you know, we're twirling around in the Dick's parking lot going, oh yeah, this way. Oh yeah, that way. And it was literally the same way, but just the opposite direction. We kept going back
walking
like
in a
side to
circle,
side. We
literally.
were walking like side to side. And then
Mel got frustrated
I got
with me and Apple.
I got frustrated with Eric because I'm like, dude, look at the stadium. That is, he's like, no, it's not.
He
I'm like,
refused
"We're
to believe anything
Dude, you cannot
Apple
argue
said."
with me. We're looking directly into the stadium.
Nuh-uh.
There's the one side.
No, we're not.
No, it's not, dude. What are you talking about? And I'm like, oh my God.
And then we'd start walking and we'd be like, yep, this is the way. This is the way
No,
for
we would be like that. We? No, he's literally lying. None of us would be like that. That was not true. He literally went against everything Apple and I said and was like so confident. I was like, it's over here. It's this way. And then we'd go that way. And he's like, where are we? This is the wrong way. And then we're like, we know you said that. And he's like, but it's this way for sure. No, it's not. Like,
And Mel finally, she's
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
until you two idiots figure out where you're going, I'm sitting right here in this chair.
Well,
Which there happened to just be
a chair.
no, literally, okay.
like bar stool almost type
Cue
chair out in the middle of
this
nowhere.
is the scene. It is kind of like off to the side with the lot. Like it's still going on, but it's not like the hub. So we have like, there's one perfect chair. There's a spotlight on that chair, and it's like a bar stool chair. So it's like elevated, and it's just sitting there in this most gorgeous spot, just like onlooking. And so nobody was sitting there. So I was like, I'm going to sit right here until you guys figure it out. And I'm not moving until we've got a plan. That's the end of it. And I sat there, and then an angel from heaven came down, like literally.
So
an angel, a fish angel came in and was like, all right, No Simple Road, this is why you got lost. Well, we sat down, and Abigail, we'll just say that, we've been trying to get together before the concert. We've been trying to get together.
Abigail is a listener of No Simple Road that has been
A champion.
a road dog for No Simple Road for years.
Support us.
We've never had the opportunity to meet in the real world, and we had been communicating back and forth. We knew she was going to be at Dick's. We were going to try and hook up, but we couldn't. We really wanted to meet each other in real life finally. Mel and I have done tarot readings for her. We know her, but we've never got to hang out. And so
we're planning to meet, and I was like, let's make it a game. We were texting back and forth. I was like, we'll make it a game. And so I'm sitting there, and these guys are smoking a cigarette and just talking back and forth. No plan is being made. Now we're just leisurely.
In the parking lot
now
again.
we're just leisurely standing around. And I look up and I see this angel from heaven, and I was like, oh my gosh, what, Abigail? And she's like, Mel, Aaron? And like her eyes were just like, we were both shocked. We must have both looked
all
like,
of us were
we must
floored.
have, all looked like the same to each other, like these huge eyeballs, just like, I can't believe we just literally bumped into each other. And it was because I was like, I'm not moving.
And because we got lost.
And it was like an hour after the show.
Yeah.
And
That's
we were pretty far out from
our
the
car.
stadium and everything. We were out a ways. Like,
and shared the coolest moment with her.
Oh my gosh.
Just like hugging each other and crying and laughing. And it was so dope.
Like,
One of my favorite moments ever.
that's when, it's beyond a podcast at that point.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Yeah.
That's what this Dick's Run / Ophelia's appearance / this Denver trip has done for me, is like, maybe like it always solidifies that, because I remember coming back last time with Nathaniel's story, and that was so impactful and so powerful, and and it still is. It didn't lose none of its heat.
Stayed just as
it's just
spicy.
as ripe.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Abigail, what she brought for us that evening, and the culmination of wanting to see somebody and wanting to meet somebody and finally doing that, and then it being so divine, so purposeful.
Synchronous.
Yeah. And it was a game, and she won.
So did we.
We won.
Everybody
We all
won.
And it was that night of 3 sets. Like, who hears of a 42-minute encore?
Yeah.
There's
And
I've never
I don't
heard
know
of that.
100%, but we heard that from several people. That's the longest encore Phish has ever done.
And maybe there is a thing out there. I just haven't heard of it. It's
No,
not. It's not common. Put it that way. So it was like this extraordinary evening, and I got the howling, and we had this stellar time with Jamie and Jordan, and
Luke.
their group, and Luke, and all that.
Christina
And then, but
Fernando.
yes, exactly. And then bumping into Abigail like that,
It was like
you're
a bomb going off.
You're no simple road angel on the road.
And a side note, I had been dancing with my shoes off. Like, I had Tevas. I had been dancing with my shoes off on the we were dancing on the concrete in Dick's. And for some weird reason, both of my big toes, bottom of my big toes, had like blisters the size of the bottom of my big toe on them. And my feet were fucked by night 3. And it hurt to walk. And after we saw Abigail, it was like the confusion was gone. And I was like, oh, the car's this way. And we started walking.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Instantly. Yeah, I'm going to call bullshit too, because it didn't exactly happen that way. We finally
started walking.
We were calmed down, and then we had another person that kind of interjected to help us with it. And I was like, "See, dude, I told you this was the." And you're like, "Oh, you're okay. This is Mike's side. Okay, I see what you were trying to say." Then it all clicked. Like,
And
it was
like,
an effort.
Oh yeah.
And then we all finally communicated, and we're like, now we know where we're going.
So we start walking, and we're parked right next to these giant soccer field, and I take off my shoes, and I'm walking in this, like, I don't know, 4.5 inch grass that had been watered maybe 2 hours ago. So it was like,
it was moist,
the most lush,
and
cold,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful foot massage you ever felt in your life. And I wanted to cry. Like, my feet hurt so bad. Before that, I stepped into the grass and was like, angels were singing.
And that was funny too, because you're like, he's walking ahead of us, and me and Mel are kind of behind him, and we're both still have our shoes on. We're just kind of like, at that point, we were tired and wanted to get back there. It's like, whatever, fucking glass. And Mel's like, maybe we should take our shoes off and see what because he's like 10 feet ahead of us. He's just like, oh, like I almost picture like Julie Andrews, like the hills are alive. And then we took our shoes, and we were like, oh my God. What is this grass? This is the best grass in the world.
It was so
Compliments
amazing.
to the groundskeepers.
Yes,
at
absolutely.
the soccer fields at Dick's Sporting Goods Park.
hey,
Wow.
Compliments to Mother Earth for hooking us up with the
providing
dope
that.
foot massage after the show.
I wanted to talk about the cute thing that I did right after after Abigail left. So she leaves, and we're like totally in La La Land and like heart emoji eyes. And then there was this beautiful display that somebody had set up with like white paper bags with candles in them,
Yeah.
and like little like stones in them to keep them from blowing away. And it reminded me of when
They're called
were
luminarios.
Luminarios. It reminded me of when we were in Mexico and they had that art display with the lights and we were walking.
The little pyramids.
Yeah. And it was just like after that moment to walk through that and like serene, kind of lit up, mystical.
It was like a labyrinth.
Yeah, it was like a labyrinth. It was just like a magical solidification of like all the stuff that the connections and all the lives that we get intermingled with.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love every second of it.
It's amazing to come to a concert in another state and have our entire family around us, with us there, and to be able to connect with everybody individually at some point during the run. You know, you have your moment with each person. And I think that like the music is amazing and that's why we're all there. But ancillary to that is these magical moments that we share with each other during and after the shows, and the relationships that are built inside of that foundation are some of the most beautiful and strong and fun relationships that we have in our lives. And it's because of that.
Well, one cool thing that you reminded me of that I had thought of, but I forgot. It's like one of those things you think of and then you forget to say, you know, but you said it, that it was your 1 year anniversary of meeting Jordan.
Mm-hmm. Our
and I remember that. I remember walking over like section 115 and like, you know, I didn't, you know, Jamie was there and, but she kind of went off to get a drink for a little bit and we talked to Jordan. And I remember the whole thing and I was like, what a year has done. Like it seems so much longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we talk about Ben and Tiff, like that story, it just seems like we've known them for like 20 years, you know? Jordan and Jamie have only been in our life for a year. And I love those two.
Yeah, man.
I'll fight for them.
Mel means it too.
I will.
She'd cut a person.
Will.
She would.
I'll be like, mm-mm.
So we make it home safely, obviously.
But I would talk it out first.
And we crustily get up the next morning and we're hanging in there. I'm 51. I could do this. Like it's cool.
I have to say after that I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning that night, which
yeah
caught up with me on Sunday.
That's okay. I'm going to be responsible today. I'm going to get us to the lot early. I'm not going to drive us to Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm going to drive us to Dick's Sporting Goods Park. We're going to get there early so that we can get our good spot that we like. We're going to get in line. We're going to have eaten. We're going to have all of our supplies.
Well, before we go there, too, that is the morning that we got up and we went to brunch at Linger and got treated like kings and queens by
Justin Cucci
and the staff. The staff was amazing. The food was amazing. It just, if you are ever in Denver, all I would say is go to one or all of the restaurants up there that's part of Edible Beats.
Yep.
Linger, Ophelia's, Root Down.
Is meals that like define a time in your life. That meal will forever define this time.
Yeah.
In our
every bite was
that was our first like
amazing.
Good meal of the run.
That was the first time we ate in those 3 days.
No, it wasn't. We ate, but like that was like the first time we really like, you know, when we first got there we did that, but like it was just special. It was special to be treated. The food was incredible. The drinks were amazing. The feeling. And I can't say enough about how important it is that we're even dining in there after knowing the kind of person that Justin is. And like our history, our personal No Simple Road history, to be there. It's like kind of like, you know, when a rock star invites you to their house.
Yeah, I totally felt like that.
You know, like here,
and down to like the staff, from the hostess to everybody, like you could tell they genuinely loved working there.
Yeah,
and treating people
well. And their staff was incredible. Yeah. Everywhere we went, Ophelia's, everybody was incredible.
Stoked to be having that job.
The hostess at Linger was adorable and so like sweet and like
being
just,
treated to a meal is cool.
Yeah.
Period. If somebody's
but,
like,
yeah, but
let me spoil you.
I've worked in the service industry and I know about good service. I know how to
that was
give
impeccable.
it and receive it. And I know, like, sometimes people don't pay attention. They just, get walked to their table.
Yeah.
But I pay attention to the staff and everybody. It was just
It
great.
was next level.
It was next level. It was great.
So yeah, we're going to be responsible. Last day, we're all in. Like, we're going for it. All our supplies are ready. We're packed. We're going to the show. We get to the lot early. Doors open at 6. We get in line, and then it starts raining.
Well, Apple gets in line.
Yeah, Mel and I went and did some stuff,
Yeah,
and then came back, and it starts raining. I had gone to the car. As soon as I walked away from Mel and Apple, like, the wind starts howling.
There was hardly any wind, and all of a sudden it was like 30 mile an hour, like hard to stand.
Mhm.
Wind like that.
Yep. And then it starts sheets of rain coming down. I run to the car. These two stayed in line, got soaked.
It was funny trying to see those trees. I mean, they were decent sized trees, but there was enough room for maybe like 6 to 8 people to huddle under. There's like 50 people just packed trying to weasel in.
We were all trying to block the rain
gave
from
up.
everybody.
I was like, I'm still getting so. I just stepped back out and I was soaked through.
So we're in line, and it's like to the south of Dick's is a wall of black cloud and lightning and thunder. And it's the kind of storm that, like, you're not quite sure if it's safe to be outside. You're also not quite sure if there's going to be a concert tonight at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, the loudspeakers, which nobody is doing, obviously, the loudspeaker,
take shelter.
Take shelter in your car. We will let you know when the storm passes. Like, nobody was moving.
Nobody was going to leave their spot to go to their car.
In line, asshole to elbow, against a fence from 5 o'clock until 8:15.
And Apple had been standing there a lot longer.
Yeah. And when I say
4:30,
standing asshole to elbow, like, you have your, like, 6 inches of space around your body, and that's it for that long. And when it's that long, everything's shifting. It was getting tighter. Like, every 15 minutes, you notice, like, this is a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
And then people were getting tired and sitting down. So when somebody sits down in a crowd of packed people, everybody has to move a little bit more for them.
Yeah.
So people are sitting down. And that's when I was starting to lose. I was thirsty. I was afraid to take a drink of my water because I already had to pee.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to bail out of the line. I was like, okay, this is the point. I'm going to piss myself soon. I've got to go.
I'm sure you wouldn't have been the only one.
Yeah, and it took me like 5 minutes to get, because it was so tight. I'm like, excuse me. I like tripped over a lady that was sitting that I didn't see. And everybody was agitated by the dude's like, dude, watch out for my girl. And I'm like, bro, sorry. And got out and then had to go wait in line at the porta potties for 15 minutes to pee.
So they finally open the gates at 8:15. Storm's passed. Everybody rushes. We get to our spot. We got a great spot. And after being on such a high for the past 4 days, including Ophelia's, and now this is the 5th day for us, like, it was weird. That last night was strange. Like, Phish played a great show. I've got nothing to say that Phish did anything bad or.
Phish is consistent. They're not getting it out of the park
every night.
And
so it's always your attitude and what you bring it out. Like, if you're tired or if you're weird.
What they did is they made sure that we got a show.
Man.
And they played.
They're gentle. They're
crazy.
Classy.
It's just weird when there's no set break and things aren't jammed out as long. It was like, okay, we want to give them a full show in the time we have, so we're just going to get to it.
I felt like, you know, when like your car's breaking down and your battery's not right, and you'll go to start your car and it'll be like zoom, 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 and then it'll catch zoom, zoom, and then die. That's what was happening to me all night long. Like, I would start to connect to the music and then just be getting into it, and then it would fall apart. And I was like, what the hell's going on? What's wrong with me tonight? Like, it just, everything seemed off, and it was me. all night long.
Well, it wasn't just you. It was a lot of people were saying the same things. Like everybody felt it was an off night because of the way it started.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard some people say that the
something.
last night was their favorite night.
I've heard nobody say that, but I believe you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was weird,
I
man.
haven't heard anybody talk about it.
And I gotta say, when Mel and I finally got back to the Airbnb after that last show, the pass out that happened, oh my God.
Yeah, I can't even describe it without drooling. It was just like instant.
Yeah. And-
It's so good when you're on vacation too and you don't have to wake up for anything. Our flight was later that night. We were going to meet somebody, but it was going to be later. Like it just,
I was gonna say I stayed up till 4:30 in the morning again with the boys hanging out.
but meeting Jack and Lils, that was amazing.
Yeah,
And
going to breakfast with Bacon Man.
Yeah.
and Lils.
Lils and,
You can't remember their name either.
no,
And they bought us breakfast.
Kevin?
It was so sweet.
Kyle.
Yeah, man.
No, that wasn't Kyle. We did meet
Anyway,
a Kyle. Sorry, guys.
it was
I'm trying to
dope.
remember everybody's name, and it's not.
So I have to say that, like, if I had to encapsulate the entire experience, I would have to say that I feel like No Simple Road leveled up as far as like what we do live. That was a brand new experience for us doing
Yes.
something that big. And I feel very good about what we did there, what we brought, and the experience that we had afterward, meeting Shapiro and Justin,
Mhm.
and then these stellar Phish shows with all this magic inside. I feel like we leveled up again. And now it's the end of the season. We have one more festival.
Which Cascade Equinox, we're coming for you. We're so excited.
We're podcasting live. We're putting together a whole thing for them, a whole experience that
Yeah.
we're going to do. And I feel like this year has been the year of leveling up for No Simple Road.
Yeah, it really has.
Personally, our relationships with the people that are close to us have leveled up.
Yes.
The show itself has leveled up. The band we love has leveled up. Like all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The story is playing out. I constantly flash back to the beginning of the year when we did the tarot card reading with Aaron and Liz.
Yeah.
It's playing out the way all the cards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, magic is real, folks.
Yep.
If you
It
didn't
is.
already know that, I'm
that-
here to tell you.
I wanted to talk about Kyle. Did we didn't mention Kyle at all?
No.
So Kyle.
We mentioned Kyle when we met him at Ophelia's, but we didn't
we talk about-
elaborate more
Oh.
about seeing him every night, except for Saturday. The he was like, damn it, the one show he went to go see Mastodon.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that I wanted it to be recorded. That was such a sweet introduction, and he was so genuine and making me feel comfortable and talking to us after the show at Ophelia's and telling us his thoughts, and just a really caring person. And I just wanted to say that he was rad, and he brought up he was a good part of our Dick's weekend.
Yeah, man. So for all of you that we interacted with at Dick's, I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. For all of you that we interacted with,
If you liked it,
I love
we
you.
liked it.
And,
You didn't. We
for all
did.
you that got a sticker from us and you're listening for the first time, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
And our
welcome.
bearded brothers, Chris and Dave,
Yes.
who were with it like every night, even the night they weren't with us, they came and found us at the end of the night.
And
That was
if
awesome.
if you are one of those people that likes Phish and you've never been to Dick's, I just say, man, whatever you need to do to make it happen next year, come. It's a really, really amazing place to see this band. And I feel like when they play there, something special happens. It's the end of the run. They're going to be off for a little while. They pull out all the stops, and those Dick shows, man, are legendary. So,
And it's a thank you to Phish, because it is like they facilitate
Yeah.
it's like the awesome like great grandpa or something, the tradition of a family reunion, and it's set in Denver in the middle of the country where people can converge from all over the country to come meet in the middle, and it's very special.
It really
Best
is.
family reunion ever.
And I want to say a very special thank you to Andy Frasco and to Chris Pandolfi and to the Ophelia's team. And thanks everybody. We will be doing more live stuff. We're going to put something together here in Portland. I actually talked to Cam Hart. You know him. He's the guy that does the like jaded Phish vet videos and stuff like that on Instagram. Him and I had a really, really great conversation at Set Break. And we are going to put something together here in Portland, a live podcast. And
his best show ever.
Show ever podcast. Give it a listen. I was a guest on there. He had Jeff Aravello from Goose and Long Strange Putt. And go check out the Best Show Ever podcast. And we're going to be doing something here live in Portland. So keep your ears open, your eyes open, and we'll let you know when that's coming up. Anybody else have anything else?
We love you.
No, just it was an amazing weekend, and it was great spending time with everybody. And man, I love you, Fernando. I love you, Christina.
One last way, like, so glad, like I said to you, Andrew, that you're in our lives from here on out.
Oh,
and
Andrew.
we'll be seeing you soon.
Yes.
Yeah, he's coming. He's flying out the day we're going to Cascade Equinox to join us on the journey.
Yep.
Gonna
love
be
you,
a
brother.
trip. And so we'll see all you in like 12 days or whatever or 11 days at Cascade Equinox Festival. If you don't have tickets, get your tickets. Come see us podcast live. I heard that there's going to be some cool bands there. I don't know. Might be Goose and LPGOB and stuff, but whatever.
Pretty lights, something like
Eggy,
that.
Whatever. And we'll be back on Friday with another episode. So until then, take care of each other, smile at a stranger, safety third,
love one another,
hydrate,
hug yourself.
Hey, who's got our SOs? And get some sleep, man.
I have one last thing to say.
What?
Uncle Baby Billy's Bible Bonkers.
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hella means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? No simple road. 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 Windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey, this is Steve Choi, host of the Musicians Guild podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. Within the four walls of the Musicians Guild, we'll be discussing the habits, idiosyncrasies, experiences, and general psychology of my friends and peers, all involved with music in various capacities. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.